Today's video is sponsored by DistroKid. Save 7% on your first year with my VIP link at the top of the description. You'll get access to a ton of incredible features, one of which allows you to connect with major record labels. You can also collect Spotify pre-saves for your upcoming songs. And if you want to get a YouTube official artist channel just like me, click the video in the top right corner to learn how. For as little as $20 a year, get all this and more with DistroKid. Thank you for supporting my channel. Now on to the video. Today I'm going to show you how to manually tune your vocals because this makes your music sound a million times better than just doing auto-tune. Even in trap style, okay? I understand you want it to sound really like robotic and stuff. You can still add auto-tune. It'll adjust the transitions and make it sound the way you want it, but just even clearer and smoother and better. So you should be doing this with your vocals, I promise. I'm gonna be doing this in Newtone, which is built into FL Studio. If you don't have that, you can use like Melodyne, Reason, which is another DAW, as well as I think AutoTune Pro has a way of manually correcting your vocals. So there's several ways of doing it. Just look up the best way for you. And they pretty much all follow the same principles. So let's get to it. So most of you know that I use Adobe Audition for recording. So I recorded some stuff for a song in there. And then I just exported the raw vocals and I brought them into FL. This is just one of several layers from this song that I needed to export and tune. So it is gonna sound a little weird when I play it, but I just needed it for the example, okay? So when you've got your sample in here, make sure that it's the highest quality wave that you can have, as well as it's completely raw, of course. Click on this little guy right here and then click pitch correct sample. It's gonna actually analyze the recording and figure out what key it's in, and then it'll automatically set it in key. You just zoom out, obviously, until you find your recordings. First thing you're gonna do is you're gonna click on this little gear here so you can do advanced edits, and then you're gonna drag the center dial all the way up so it centers all of your notes properly. Unless you're a really good singer, odds are your notes probably are not even close to centered, but that's pretty much what auto-tune does, and then just guesses which notes it thinks you're trying to hit. But if you're far off from a note that you actually want to hit and the auto-tune puts it in the wrong spot, that's when it sounds kind of geeked, and that's where this stage can really help you out. Now if we zoom in a little bit, you can see there's like fluctuation in these little waveforms here, which is the variation in your voice, and that's what this dial is for. So all of them, you can make them more variated if you want. That's gonna sound like absolute garbage, I guarantee you, but you can also turn this all the way down, which, I mean, you can do this for a very robotic specific sound, but I think it makes it sound way too unnatural, at least personally. So I usually don't mess with this too much. I'll turn it down a little bit, but you can also adjust notes individually for their variation, but we'll get to that. I'm gonna full screen this just so I have more room to work with, and then you're just gonna click along the timeline where you wanna start listening. So all of the light gray areas are in key and all the dark grays are out of key. So if you see anything out of key, like for example, right here and here, they are not in key, you would either drag them up or down to the closest note that actually works for it. And if you wanna do some cool tweaks, you can literally drag this up an entire octave and just make it sound super cool and different and unique. But for right now, we're just gonna try to make it as smooth and clean as possible. I'm just gonna jump to this area where I see the first mistake. So we're gonna click right there and just push play. Get some bad news. So you can hear it sounds like pretty off key in this section. All we literally have to do is grab the middle here, drag this down, and then drag this one down as well. And then we play it back. It already sounds much, much better. But now we can adjust little things like the variation on each note. So this little arc off here on the note is pretty intense. So we're gonna click on this and we're gonna turn the variation down for that part and for this part, so it's not as intense. Now I kind of want the tail end to end somewhere here where it would kind of meet up with this next note. So now if we play it back, it should be slightly smoother. You can kind of hear it transitions like the S sound a little smoother into the next note. For this one, I mean, you can see there's a little bit of wobbliness for sure. So we're going to turn the variation down, make it a little bit more flat. Same with this section. This is definitely all over the place. And then this last note as well, we want the variation down. And now if we play it back, it should be a noticeable difference in how smooth it sounds. Get some bad news. Now there is a little bit of static roboticness kind of sound here, but it won't even be noticeable when you throw all your effects and auto-tune on. But you can already hear a major difference in how the vocals sound themselves. So you basically just repeat that process going through every single note within your program until it all sounds, correctly in pitch. I just realized that I completely forgot to mention how to save this. So whenever you're done, fixing your vocals, just click on the little save icon here, click save sample as, and then just export it to wherever you want. And if for some reason your singing is really off, or for some reason Newtone's analyzer gives you the wrong key, you can actually click on this little scissors icon here, go down to scale, and then choose the scale of it. And if you want to know how to figure out the scale that you're in, just drag the beat onto a website like tunebat.com. You can go to their analyzer and just drag the beat in there. It'll give you the BPM and the key. So yeah, so I know my singing is not very good, but you know, we all know that I can actually like produce this shit and make it sound decent by the end of the day. But this is like some of the early stages. So this has really helped my vocals a ton. So let me play what I have for this song specifically with fully tuned vocals exported and put into my vocal chain, which if you want to know what my vocal chain is, video in the top right corner, I go over it there, and yeah, that might help you.
Is this Davey?
No, there ain't no way this is all real. I know there's something up, cause I'm down here, but through the smoke and mirrors, shadows are the face of all my peers. This ain't reality. Ooh, I hope there's something I can do, but I'm nervous, I might get some bad news. Now that's it for live on scene, now back to you.
I'm gonna play it back one more time, but I'm gonna take the auto-tune off for these top two layers. I did not edit these ad-libs, these are all auto-tune. But for these ones, I have pitch corrected them. So let's see what it sounds like.
Is this Davey?
No, there ain't no way this is all real. I know there's something up, cause I'm down here, but through the smoke and mirrors, shadows are the face of all my peers. This ain't reality. Ooh, I hope there's something I can do, but I'm nervous, I might get some bad news. Now that's it for live on scene, now back to you.
So if you've got a fine ear, you definitely noticed a difference. The auto-tune really helps with the transition and kind of connecting notes together a little bit better. And it gives it that sort of, you know, new school auto-tune-y trap sound, which I actually like. If you don't like auto-tune, it can still sound really cool and like kind of achieve a different sort of sound and style. But I really like it. So yeah, I put auto-tune on my stuff still, but even without it, I think it sounded quite good. Now I know it's a little bit inconvenient and it's gonna take a little bit of time to learn and get a workflow down for it. But once you have it down, it is pretty quick and it makes your music sound a million times better. So make sure you are tuning your vocals 100%. I'll also show another quick sample from a song that I'm working on with Geo Mafia, where it's actually like all trap and rap, but I actually tuned my vocals in this as well. It's got a very subtle like melodic style and tone to it. But even pitch correcting in something where you're rapping and not trying to be melodic and singy makes the sound way better.
If we talking Grayson on the greatest on this planet, greatest on this planet, swear to God, I'm like a coupon going off inside this catalog. They ain't know I had a horse, tell her rev it up. 500 stallions, I'm about to blow the engine up. Ashes, someone said I'm fruity cause I got a lot of passion. They said they on the map, but I'm the one who made the atlas.
So tuning all the little vocals in there just made it so much smoother. I didn't need as much auto-tune, and he doesn't have a huge auto-tune-y presence. I think he uses like a lot on his vocals, but since his notes aren't held for a long period of time, you don't really notice. But for me, I held longer notes in there, and so tuning them manually made it sound just so crisp. So please do this. I hope this video helped. If it did, leave a like, comment down below any other tutorial ideas you have for me. Thanks for stopping by. It's been your boy MMXVII, and I'm out. Peace.